super soft. But you can see how it's stretchy, even with Wonder Under. We're thinking, ew, yeah, Wonder Under, that sounds really nasty. But it moves beautifully. And so this is one of my project downloads as part of my creative suite, which is multiple projects using the knit and the voile and some of the other fabrics. But this is not only a cool quilt, but it's also a really kind of fast skirt that you can play with. And then I did a mini-me version, a little fabric, a little knit cuff, little big sister. So this is a macrame band. It's really simple. It's really straight up, straightforward macrame, and just detailing it with a fun vintage pin. You can possibly plate holders too. You can do plate holders. Oh, that would be really cool. Yeah, big giant chest plate. You guys need to move tomorrow. We're not gonna go to sleep tonight. Yeah. So I'll pass this around for you guys to feel it too, because it feels really wonderful. Yeah. So that's kind of that's.
I want to say one more thing about stretch, because an interlock knit is. And I don't rule out doing jersey knits. I think that's a great idea. But just like you approach any craft for the first time, I felt like we should sort of present in a stage of progression as well. Like, let's get people sewing with the interlocks and try that out. And then maybe we can approach some jerseys, because jerseys are amazing. And they can do things that interlocks will not. They'll stretch a ton. They'll drape a little differently. Stretch is determined based on percentages. Like if you hear people say, like, this fabric has a 25% stretch, or it's a two-way stretch, or it's a four-way or six-way. So this is not a performance stretch. In other words, it's not going to stretch the same in every direction. It stretches on the width. It has some give on the vertical, but not a ton. So yes, you can make leggings out of it, but it's not going to be the same legging pattern that you might use for a jersey fabric. Like, it's going to have to be cut the length of a pant, because it's not going to stretch like gymnastic fabric, right? And maybe this is about, in my measuring scenarios, this is about a 25% stretch. That means when you stretch the fabric to the point where you wouldn't really, before it starts distorting and opening up that interlock, and before it starts distorting the print, when you stretch it out to its maximum, it's about 25% bigger than the total. Okay, there's some fabrics that go up 100, 50% more, or that can stretch out to a ton, but those are usually ones that stay stretched out, so this retains well. In other words, it's stretched and it goes back really beautifully. Probably shrinks more than any fabric that I've sewed with, besides maybe the flannels. It's probably similar to the flannel. And on my blog, every time I introduce a new fabric, I go through like a nitty-gritty. How does it wash? How does it cut? How does it sew? What needles to use? And I taught classes this summer with Natalie Channon, who does all organic, handmade, beautiful goods out of Jersey. I mean, she makes beaded wedding gowns.